We'll have reaction from right around the world and ask what impact will Saddam's death have on the violence in Iraq. You're watching Al Jazeera live from London. I'm Barbara Sarah.
And I'm Nick Clark. Also on this special programme, some Iraqis celebrate Saddam's death, but others call him a martyr.
But still the violence goes on, with dozens killed in Iraq on Saturday.
And in other news, a massive car bomb in Madrid. Is this the end of ETA's ceasefire?
Saddam Hussein has been executed, hanged at dawn for crimes against humanity. In the Shia areas of Iraq, there were scenes of jubilation as the news of the former Iraqi president's death reached the streets.
But from many across the Arab world, condemnation over his execution, carried out on the first day of the Festival of Eid. John Cookson reports on Saddam's final hour.
This is the moment millions of Iraqis will always remember. A noose around Saddam Hussein's neck. Their former president suffering the same fate as thousands of his subjects. Seconds after these images, the Iraqi leader was consigned to eternity and the history books. Earlier, National Security Advisor al-Rubai signed the death warrant and the charges were read out to Saddam. There was no struggle, just the look of a worried man about to meet his end. At times, the procedure seemed almost businesslike, with its executioners explaining exactly what would happen. Saddam clutched a Quran, and witnesses said he shouted Allah Akbar as the trapdoor slammed open. Among the witnesses, this man.
At the time of carrying out the execution, Saddam didn't speak any words. He was in a total disappointment when he saw the gallows. He was executed and all the Iraqis got rid of this tyrant. I witnessed him lying dead inside the ambulance. He was wearing the black suit and white shirt, the same clothes he used to wear during the court hearings a few days ago. He was lying on his front. He was covered in a sheet. His neck was broken. The criminal no longer exists, and a chapter of Iraq's unjust criminal history is now folded down. Saddam's crimes against the Iraqi people, the greatest.
Saddam Hussein always had aspirations of being the world's greatest Arab leader. Those dreams ended today, dangling on a hangman's rope. John Cookson, Al Jazeera.
Well, the death of Saddam Hussein provoked differing reactions throughout Iraq. For the victims of his crimes, it's been a day of celebration, with hundreds of Shias and Kurds taking to the streets in a jubilant mood.
But the day has also been marked by deadly violence. A series of car bombs in Baghdad killed 25 people, while in Kufa, to the south of the capital, dozens more died in an attack on a local market. Al Jazeera's John Terrett has the details.
Celebrations in the Iraqi holy city of Najaf. Members of the Shia community dancing in the streets, unable to conceal their delight at having lived to see the end of Saddam Hussein. In the largely Shia Baghdad, locals drove their cars through the streets, cheering and sound horns.
This is a moment of joy for the Iraqi people. It is a double delight, the execution and the Eid, simply because of what he inflicted on the Iraqi people.
Executing Saddam at this point of time is pointless. Firstly, we are in the holy Eid feast. Secondly, children are eagerly awaiting for these days to rejoice. No one expected him to be executed now.
I swear to God, all the Iraqi people are happy, especially coinciding with the Eid holiday. It's a blessing from God. Saddam harmed and ruined us. The entire country was devastated because of him. We thank God for his execution.
On the whole, political leaders in Iraq maintained a low profile after Saddam was hanged. But the Iraqi Foreign Minister, Hosea Zebari, told Al Jazeera that in killing Saddam, the government had carried out its promise to the people.
After the sentence was endorsed and approved through all the proper channels, the government felt that this is the right time to execute the sentence before the end of this year.
And this from the head of the Kurdish parliament, whose own people were brutally put down by Saddam.
The man was a dictator and very harsh. He governed Iraq for 35 years and unfortunately destroyed Iraq and affected the region negatively. His effect was not limited only to Iraq. It spread to the whole region because of his extreme stance in all national and religious issues.
A spike in violence was always expected after Saddam was killed, and the hours after he was hanged, a triple car bombing killed scores of people in a Shiite district of Baghdad. Earlier, a car bomb exploded in the southern city of Kufa, killing dozens of people and wounding even more. And the deaths of 2 more US service personnel brought the total for December to 108, making it the bloodiest month so far this year for the Americans. John Terrett, Al Jazeera.
Well, to Syria now, which is home to thousands of Iraqi refugees who fled their country as violence there spiraled out of control. Our correspondent Zena Khodr has been gauging the mood in Damascus.
This neighborhood in the Syrian capital, Damascus, is now home to thousands of Iraqis who fled their homeland because of the ongoing violence. Ever since the news that their former leader, Saddam Hussein, was executed, a lot of people here went into mourning. As you can hear, the sound of the Quran behind me, and just this poster here calling Saddam Hussein a martyr for Iraq. People here are angry. They're asking questions. Was the trial fair? The trial was held at a time that their country is under occupation. But most people here, their concern is, what's next? What is after the killing of Saddam Hussein? We spoke to a couple of Iraqi refugees here, and this is what they had to say.
Yes, Saddam Hussein used to like the Christians, and when they hanged him, we were heartbroken for him. Now the people are not all good. I'm heartbroken. He used to help the Christians. The country's not good now.
Well, to be honest, it really doesn't matter if he is hanged or not. We only really care in the country's security and future. At the moment, the situation in Baghdad is unbearable. The security in the country has gone, and there is total chaos. I don't know what the execution will lead to in the country's security. I don't know what will happen after Saddam is gone.
I'm a Syrian living with Iraqis in Iraqi neighborhood. Like, what did Saddam's execution do? What did it bring? What did his execution do? How many Iraqi die now every day? How many people did Saddam execute? Hundreds? 200s? 300s? How many Iraqis are constantly killed now? And how many will continue to be killed?
And we can cross to Iraq and speak to our Baghdad correspondent, Hoda Abdel Hamid. Hoda, what's the mood like in Baghdad tonight?
Well, now it's very quiet. There's a curfew that just kicked in about a few minutes ago. That is a normal curfew. It's every night, starts at 9 o'clock in the evening. But throughout the day, Baghdad remained extremely quiet. Very few people ventured on the street. Most were expecting a lot of reprisals, a lot of backlash, so preferred to stay at home. The shops were closed. The Iraqi National Guard was on force on the streets. There were a lot of checkpoints. And by Iraqi standard, the day went quite peacefully. There was some celebrations in some Shiite neighborhood, mainly the Sadr city, and there was also some violence, sporadic gunfire in a mixed neighborhood in Haifa Street. There was also 3 car bombs in a Shiite neighborhood, but Iraqis here tell me that they were expecting the day to be much worse and that they were quite surprised how peacefully it went. They also say that they're expecting the worst for the days to come. Most of them are happy that Saddam Hussein is gone, but they also feel that maybe the time of the execution is not the right time, at a moment where really Prime Minister Maliki has to do all his efforts to have a national reconciliation conference, bring all the parties of Iraq together, and that includes the Sunnis. The Sunnis are feeling a bit more alienated today.